Hey guys, it's Karen from The Fit Habit. I am here in Toronto. This is the last night of my vacay. I just left my husband. He's off to the airport because he's got business in DC now. And I head out tomorrow, and I just wanted to touch base with you because I've had some thoughts lately that I wanted to share. Sorry about the ramble. First of all, what I need to share is the view of the place I'm staying at. So I'm going to touch this. And you're gonna see, yeah, that's the window that I'm looking through right now. Pretty freaking awesome, right? So I'm from Toronto, but I live in the Bay Area now. So I love California, I love living in the US, and I'm really excited about living in California, but I'm always excited about coming home because Canadians are just really cool people. So anyways, I'm here and I've had a great week. But I wanted to share some thoughts around envy, the good, the bad, and the evil, if you will. And the reason I'm talking about this now is that I was in the gym this morning. There's a great gym in this condo that we've rented. And I was listening to the book called Girl Code. And the author was talking about a situation she had where she went to a restaurant to meet a friend, and the friend hadn't gotten there yet. So she sat at the bar and put her purse on the bar because there was no like seat beside her or whatever. And anyways, apparently it was a Chanel purse. And some women down at the end of the bar got a little annoyed that she put her Chanel purse on the bar and felt like she was all that and made her feel very uncomfortable. Now, I can't think of a parallel situation in my own life. Because I think what that is malicious envy. And maybe that's happened in my life, I don't know. But whether I be on the receiving end, I don't know that I've had malicious envy towards other people. But I have had constructive envy. And I kind of wanted to talk about the difference between the two and how they can serve you. Because I really do think that there is a difference, and one can be very constructive and can really help you decide what it is that's important to you in your life and help guide your process and priorities. Because for me, priorities are very important, and knowing what my priorities are at any given time in my life, and those change from time to time, but knowing what they are is very important. So in terms of that story I just told you about the author and how she experienced some malicious envy at a bar, I unfortunately think that happens a lot between women. I don't know what it is about women, but we can be really evil to each other, and it's not just when we're young and in grade school, which I know we've all experienced, but it happens in adult life too. We can be very catty. We can say really mean things about other women, and usually what that comes down to, I've learned this in my own life, and the author reiterated that to me this morning, that very often when you are being destructive towards other women, either putting them down or saying evil things not in their presence or otherwise, it's just more a reflection of you and where you are in your life. And if you are busy criticizing people around you, it's usually because you're miserable in your own life. Because you know what? Happy people that have good things going on in their life typically don't have time or inclination to be nasty about each other. And I find that men are really much better at this than we are. I don't know what it is about women, but we can be incredibly empowering and uplifting and supportive, or we can be downright evil to each other. So as I start this conversation off about envy, let me just say at the top of the hour, we all know how difficult it is to be women, that, it's very difficult to be a woman in today's Pinterest society where everything's supposed to be perfect, and it's not. It's just not. Life is not perfect, but we're trying to do the best we can, and the best that we can do is lift each other up. And I will say, actually, I had that experience on the flight into Toronto. My husband was being a little facetious in front of the flight attendant. She didn't realize we were married, and he was just joking around, but he had said something sort of off the cuff. And she said, I hope you know this woman, and I hope she's okay with that, because we women stick together. And she had a real serious look on her face. She's going to kill my husband. And that's where he was like, whoa, no, she's my wife, and we were just kidding around. Hey, Carol Kerrigan, how are you? Long time no speak to. Hey, Michelle, nice to see you. So anyway, that made me realize that we could do a lot better with lifting each other up and you know, if you don't want to lift other women up, then at the very least don't pull them down. And very often women who have big dreams and big goals in their life, which I think is indicative of a lot of the friends that I have in my life, that their goals are not mainstream. Their goals are a little bit above and beyond that. And it's very easy to put people down that have big dreams in their life. And you know, even if you don't necessarily think that their dreams are going to come true, or you think they're being a little unreasonable, there's no reason why you can't support people just by saying, you know what, I don't get it, but I wish you the best and I just want you to be happy. So if anything else on that sort of tangent, just be nice to other women. There's no reason for women to tear each other's down. And I do really feel strongly that there's enough goodness in the world for all of us. There really, really is. And there are some women in the world that are so oppressed and have absolutely nothing. And here we are in Western culture with absolutely everything. And yet we have a tendency to just be unkind to each other, which is really a sad thing. So that's sort of my heavy seriousness. But now I want to talk about envy and the difference between malicious envy and constructive envy, and how you can use constructive envy to really propel yourself forward. So malicious envy, what is that? Kind of what I had just, hey Teresa, nice to see you. I am in Toronto, so we're not that far from each other. Malicious envy is the destructive envy that I was talking about, where you are clearly envious of somebody to the point where you feel like whatever benefits they have are directly derived from what you're not getting. So somebody else's gain is your loss. And it can be extremely destructive, not just to that other person, but to yourself. When you think about it, if you're spending a lot of time putting other people down, how does that make you feel? It generally makes you feel like a piece of crap, because as you're saying negative and horrible things about other people that may or may not be true, may just be your opinion, when you sit back at the end of the day, you know you don't feel good. There's a residue there. There's a negative residue there. So not only are you not doing that person any favor, you're not doing yourself any favors too. And I feel very strongly that we should always be aware of the words that we're sharing and the things that we're saying about other people, and do your best just to be kind. And if you can't say something kind, just don't say anything. And when gossip or, you know, unkind words are being shared about other people, walk away if you can't defend that person, but don't be part of garbage. And that's all I have to say about malicious envy, because there's really nothing else there. It's destructive, and we all know it is. However, interestingly, there's a different kind of envy, and that is constructive envy. And that's really when you're looking at somebody else. And Michelle, I know you've made a comment, but I don't have my glasses on, so I absolutely cannot read it right now, but I will when I'm done, and I'll respond to you. Constructive envy really has to do with being aware of where other people are doing really well in their life and how that makes you feel. And if it makes you feel a little envious, as long as you're not being malicious about it, then that's a very good indication that that person has something that you want. I can think in my own life of particular people that have certain things that I'm envious of. And I don't wish them anything less of what they have. I'm very glad that they have what they have, but it has really shown me, and I'm thinking about a few people in particular from my past that have really shown me the value of certain things that I wanted in my life. And I've gone after those as a result, because what it has done has made me realize that the virtues or the qualities that those folks have that I have been constructively envious about has really shown me in my own life that these are the things that I want for myself. You know, it's really it's very common for me to talk to people who say, I know I could do whatever I want, I could accomplish whatever I want if I knew what it is that I wanted. And really those were my words, like not 5 years ago. I think that we all kind of have this feeling that we are not sure what we want, and maybe we kind of have an inkling, but you don't really want to listen to that voice in your head, because that voice has got to be wrong, or whatever it is that I'm thinking about can't be significant enough. I've got to want something that's constructive and normal and that people are going to respect. And you can't look at the desires in your heart that way. It can't be about are my desires aligned with the people around me and what they want? It has to be what you want. And it's taken me all the way into my 40s to realize that that's the case, and that really you have to go after your own wants, and you have to have people in your life that are willing to support you and your wants, no matter how ridiculous they are, to go after your wants and to go after your dreams in life. And I'm very fortunate to have a very close circle of friends and family who do support everything that I want in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. And that is one of the wants that I wanted, which I have manifested in my own life. And I hate using that word because you know me, I'm not into law of attraction, but I am into doing, and that was something that I did. So back to you and how you can apply this. I know that you have these envies in your life. You have constructive envies, and you probably have some malicious envies too, because you're human and that's just the way we're built. But think about the malicious envies and think about how you can let it go. And if there is somebody that you have malicious envy around, what can you do to get rid of that? You can kill it with positivity. I mean, if it's somebody that you really just don't like, then you need to just not think about them anymore. But if you can stomach this, send positivity their way, send light their way, send them like a positive note. If it's somebody you know, send them an email if you don't want to call them or something like that, but say something kind and encouraging to them. Because if it's somebody who's really killing it in an area of their life and you're envious about that, then maybe they would love your encouragement. And you know, maybe it's somebody you don't know. Maybe it's just an encouraging word on social media or something like that, saying, you know, you're killing it. Good for you. I'm really happy for you. Because very often women that are killing it in some area of their life can be very lonely. You may think that women that are very successful, and I'm not necessarily projecting myself into this. So I do know, though, that I've spoken to a lot of women that have this perception of being very successful, and that can be very intimidating to other women, so they often feel very alone. So I bet you there's some woman out there who's killing it in some area of her life that would love your encouragement. So that's something that you could do, and it will make you feel better too. And if it's constructive envy that you're experiencing, then I encourage you to think about that. You know, why is it that you envy that? If it's somebody who's got a great family, or, you know, is very successful in their career, or has a bunch of degrees, or is fit and healthy, whatever it is, if you're feeling a pang of desire, that speaks volumes to what it is that your heart's desire is. And even if you are trying to deny your heart's desire, if it's coming up, if it's bubbling up through envy, then very likely then that is what you want for yourself. Stop denying it and just going after it. Just go after it for yourself. At that rate, I am going to cut out now because I think I've been rambling a little bit, but I did want to talk about that because the book that I read was very inspiring. It's called Girl Code, and I cannot tell you what the author's name is. Whoops. Two other books that I'll give you that are personal development that I love, that I've read recently, is Find Your Extraordinary, and that is by Jessica. Can't remember her last name, but if you just Google Find Your Extraordinary, you'll find it. And that was a really empowering book. I loved it. The other one is Start, and I believe the rest of the subtitle is Punch Fear in the Face or something to that effect. And the author is John Acuff. I've read a couple of his books now, and he is awesome as well. So before I go, I really just want to take you guys outside. So this is a condo that we've rented. Usually when I come into Toronto, I stay with family or friends. But since my husband was coming this time on business, I thought, oh, let's just rent a condo because it'd be kind of comfortable. And where we ended up is really, really cool. So we're right downtown. If you've never been to Toronto, it's an amazing, amazing city. And this is Ontario Place. It is amazing. They do a bunch of live concerts there. It's really cool. And what you're seeing now, we're coming over to Toronto Island. So that is an airport here. And it's mostly like short porter flights, you know, local flights. It's like little putt-putt planes. It's not an international airport. And this goes all the way around. I've got to show you one of the major Toronto icons. I'm going to flip the phone now so you can see the rest of this. All right, so here is the Toronto skyline. So that's Center Island. Apparently there's a nudie beach out there somewhere, just saying. And then, ta-da! That is the CN Tower. Oh, my connection's weak, so I've got to go back inside. But how beautiful is that? This is the city I was born and raised in. My parents moved here from Ireland before I was even born. But I am so proud and honored to be Canadian and to be from this amazing country. So on that note, I'm going to head out, but I hope that the nuggets of wisdom have settled in and you're thinking about it, and you're thinking about how you can turn malicious envy into something positive and constructive envy into something that's going to propel you forward. On that note, good night, guys. See you later.